You're listening to FitPro Sessions with Parallel Coaching, episode 4. Hi, I'm Neil Bergman, and in today's podcast, I'm talking to David Loasby from Kickfit Coaching about how he went from a boring, mundane 9 till 5 long commute to work and creating a career change and changing his passion into his profession and making fitness full-time. 3 years on, David Loasby is fully thriving with Kickfit Coaching. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Neil Bergman.
And I'm Hayley Bergman. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands of fitness professionals to get qualified, learn with simplicity, and coach clients with confidence.
We're the first to say that learning and being a fit pro doesn't have to be hard work, and that with the right structure, support, and resources, you can become a confident and knowledgeable fitness professional that is dedicated to more.
So how do you learn, qualify, and kickstart as a fit pro? This is the FitPro Sessions Podcast with Parallel Coaching.
So, a massive warm welcome to you, Dave, from Kickfit Coaching. I want to give a 20 seconds or so of a speech before I pass you over to Dave, and he can tell us a bit more about who you are. But I first met Dave. I spoke to Dave 2015, 2016 time at a point where he wanted to jump into fitness and take a full career change. And what I love about Dave's story is not only did he take a full career change, he did a little bit of what we call fitness moonlighting in the early stages, whereby he kept his full-time job and did fitness alongside. And now 2 years on, he's full-time in fitness and goes against the grain of so many fitness professionals who qualify, but don't follow through and make it their full-time career. So a massive warm welcome to you, Mr. Dave Loasby. It's great to have you on for FitPro Sessions. This is episode number 4 for you. And over to you. Tell us more about who David is and where you're based, and give us an overview of why you're here.
Hi guys, thank you for having me on for starters, mate. It's a pleasure to be here. So, yeah, as you said, I was looking to get into the fitness industry way back when. It was a big decision to make, but I'm super proud that I've done it. I'm based in Northampton at Pump Gym. The gym itself now is thriving with a big number of gyms. We currently have 6 in total. We're a 24-hour gym, which again is similar to a lot of the models around Northampton. I want to say, yeah, it's been nuts. I'm so proud of how I've got here. It's been a struggle. I'm not going to lie. Going from full-time work to doing this part-time. Doing it part-time as well. It was long hours, days were long, but it was just a matter of, this is what I want to do. I can do this. I will do this, and I'll do whatever it takes to make it work.
Amazing. I can do this. I will do this, and I'll do whatever it takes. And I think that's something that we've maybe helped drum that into you as well, of kind of dedicated to more, do the work daily, and do whatever it takes. So we've mentioned you've been in fitness. You've been in Pump Gyms based in Northampton. The gym has grown. It's a 24-hour gym for 2 years full-time, and you did a year before that where you were juggling a full-time job as well as part-time hours. So let's jump into a bit more of a backstory. What have you been doing pre your fitness career days? What was your main job or career?
So I was a benefits assessment officer for 8 years. I was based in Northampton, and I was coming to the end of my career there when I first looked to Parallel to start my fitness journey. Once I was about to complete my level 3 when I moved to Bedford, doing the same job, but as a temp. So it was same hours, more money, which was great. But obviously the hours were the same. I had to travel a little bit more. So yeah, the job was mundane. It was sat at a desk all day, pretty much 8 till 4, 9 till 5. I really didn't have any kind of enjoyment with it at all. It literally paid the bills. It was just a matter of every day was effort, getting up, going to work, doing the same old things, seeing the same old faces, being in like a negative atmosphere, if you like. But I think the fact that I had the fitness career in the background to build certainly made, I don't know, work life a little bit easier, knowing that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel, if that makes sense.
So when you were doing remind me again, benefits.
It was a benefits assessment officer, mate. So basically
Benefits
helping.
assessment officer. You've got this kind of typical 9 till 5 grind. You've got the commute before work, the commute after work. You know, you mentioned the atmosphere wasn't all that pleasant.
Exactly.
Did you use fitness, your own fitness, as kind of a way of, I'm going to use the word, saving you from that day? What?
Totally, absolutely, mate. So knowing that I was going to be working out that day, I was going to be going to the gym that day, I was going to be out interacting with people that I'm hopefully going to be interacting on a daily basis and building a career around, was very much a saving grace, in that sense that I knew once I got out of work, I knew I was going to be going to work again in the evening, whether it was to see clients or do my gym shift, but I didn't see that as work. I just saw it as like an escapism of what my day-to-day was like at work. So it was like, right, fresh start this evening, I get out of work today, then I get to spend 5 hours at the gym, build on what I'm doing, and just have a whole new level of enthusiasm at the end of the day after a long shift, if you like.
Which I suppose made the polarity of the 9 till 5 grind even worse, maybe, because you've got this 9 till 5 with a mundane atmosphere and nothing really happening, and all of a sudden of an evening you might be in a studio with 1 or 2 or small group or a large group that's absolutely buzzing, the music's on, it's really loud, and now the polarity of day versus evening is even greater. Was that even a bigger pull to kind of go, this is definitely what I want to do, and I want to jump ship?
Exactly. Do you know, the more that went on, and obviously the more sessions I did and the more confidence I gained from teaching classes, personal training, meeting clients, just interacting with people, was just, it was huge. It was like, right, this is what I want to do. I'm very good at this. I love it. I enjoy it. And there's no, if I could do this full time and get paid for what I love, it's a no-brainer.
Superb. Let's segue back to that point in your old career. What was it about fitness that changed the game for you personally? So not about getting into it as a career. Why did you choose to get into fitness yourself? Was there a particular mode of fitness that you loved more that helped you save your own sanity, I suppose, and mindset from a career?
No, absolutely. Do you know what? It was very selfish, actually. I felt I'd been training in the gym for a good few years before I became a fitness professional. But I felt I wasn't getting anywhere with my own sort of fitness. I wasn't seeing any sort of major changes. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to become a personal trainer, was obviously I loved what I did, but mostly it was about me and my own fitness and where I could take my body, what I could do with myself, and how I could progress my own training. And I think once I got a handle on that, it became easier to sort of pass on that sort of wisdom, that information.
And what I actually remember your course and a number of the other learners, it was quite a big group you were in, wasn't it? It was like 16 people, or 14 to 16 people. And I remember from weekend 1, which was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then everybody came back in, and it's still the same now on our latest courses. You come back in on weekend 2, and because we've given you the consultation, the basics behind programming, periodization, the understanding of training systems, cardiovascular resistance training systems. And the main homework is still the same, really. It's about going away and applying that to you. And I remember you coming back in and pulling me to one side. Do you remember the balcony at the venue? And we were up in that upstairs classroom. And I remember it was yourself and Steve. Do you remember Steve on your class?
Yeah. Yeah,
pulling me to one side and just saying, but what if I did this, or could I do that, and can I do that? And it was that I knew then, I was like, this guy understands systems. He's gone away, implemented it, he's trained it, he's had a go at it, he's failed at it, and you could see the changes you had made and how that's impacted your training yourself, and the impact that had on your own mindset, but physically as well.
Huge.
And seeing that. Amazing. So you're in this old career, you're making this leap to go into fitness. What was the time frame from, and it's probably quite hard, I know you've had these questions for a few days, and it might be hard to think back. What was the time frame from that initial thought of, I am sick and tired of my day, my commute, my mundane 9 till 5, I don't really want to be doing this, to taking action of reaching out to inquire about a personal training course or inquiring about becoming a fitness professional? Was there a time frame there, or was it very
Yeah.
quick?
Do you know what? It was a long time coming. I mean, before I applied to you guys, I was teaching kickboxing. So I had a certain aspect of my life which I really enjoyed. Like, I was always interacting with people, teaching people, and fitness was always pretty good with kickboxing, which was great. But again, I knew there was more to it. And I think that was a big, that sort of spurred me on a little bit. I knew I really enjoyed teaching. So I thought, what better way to incorporate, martial art fitness with personal training. But to answer your question, it was, I remember it so well. Like, me and my partner were talking. We were literally just on a Sunday walk, and she was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to be a personal trainer. I think that's like that's my calling." And literally finished our walk, and I'll never forget. We literally went back to her place. We sat down, got the telephone. Parallel was the first one to come up, and I remember calling. I'll never forget the conversation with Hayley. She was amazing. She made me feel completely comfortable. I don't know, it was almost like it was the perfect time to call, if that makes sense. It was like, yeah, this was perfect. She left me feeling like that was the best thing I did. That conversation I'll never forget it. It just made me feel like, yeah, this is it. Right, I'm going to do it. Got me booked on, and that was it. I don't remember even looking back from that point.
What I love about that initial conversation, and what Hayley does very well, is, well, to give some context, majority of our learners are very similar to you. You're in a career, there's an element of dislike, and you've been in fitness and you want to move into that full time. It's a major career shift. You're literally taking where you are now and putting life on a whole new trajectory. So that first initial phone call is just about making sure that this is a decision you want to pursue. It's not really about enrolling on a course. It's just about airing out your ideas and your thoughts of where you are now with somebody that has the knowledge of how to do that.
Exactly.
So that, you can talk to, your partner or, a friend or family, but of course they're going to be slightly biased or tell you what they think you want to hear. Whereas
Sure.
when you reach out and you talk to Hayley, she asks you a different set of questions for you to make sure this is an ideal that is right for you. And did you sit on, how long did you sit on that conversation for before you kind of went, nope, I'm this is the way forwards now, I'm all in? Did you have to go back to family and whatnot and talk about it more, or what was the process?
No, do you know what, mate? No, I didn't. I think literally after speaking to Hayley, that was kind of like that was the point. That was that switch. It was like, yeah, do you know what? She's made me feel like this is what I want to do. And that was it. I knew it was there, mate, but I think it was just speaking to Hayley was that final sort of click. It was like, yeah, I'm ready for this. I can do this. And let's just get on with it. I don't think I've waited very long. I think literally I've had to book onto the course, but I think it was only a matter of weeks. And do you know what, mate? The cool thing was me and my partner had a holiday in Cape Verde in the October when I was due to start. And I remember being able to take literally all my content out there. So I think the week we spent out there, whenever we were sunbathing, it was pretty much just looking at the content, reading the content. And I know it sounds crazy, but I don't think I've ever been so excited to sit down and read like 3 or 4 hours like back to back. It was crazy. But when you're into something and you love something, you just absorb it so easy. And again, I think that was another sort of reinforcement as to I knew I was doing the right thing.
And that's a really cool point to make, isn't it? That when you really want to do something and you're really excited to do it, suddenly the learning behind it becomes 10 times easier. And yet so many learners worry or fear that they're perhaps too old, or they won't be able to absorb the information, or it's a whole new language they've got to learn around A&P. But you're living proof that if you're deep down excited and enthusiastic, this is my calling, this is what I want to do, suddenly it doesn't matter how hard it is, you want to be doing more of it. And as we know, the more we do it, and if we enjoy that, we're going to absorb that information.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was like, mate. Yeah, it was fun to learn. It was really good. And like the more you learn about it, you're like, it was like, oh, I get it. And like, I can apply that to this and I can do that. And it was just like, I want to learn more. So it was brilliant.
I want to just focus on, you mentioned about your partner became a key cog, I suppose, in this decision making? You mentioned you went out on a long Sunday walk, and then you've been over to Cape Verde, and she's supported you along the way. What was life like with because you got kids as well? They were quite young at the time, weren't they?
That's right. Yeah.
What was life like with a young family and a partner, whereby you're now making this key life changing decision, whereby there's some uncertainty coming in, mainly around, I suppose, finance, because you're talking about giving up a job to go at a job that has no certainty of money coming in. What was that? Was there any key decisions or any fears around that? What was the conversation like for you and your partner at the time?
To be fair, mate, I mean, she made it a lot easier for me. She knew I was really upset, like really sad in my job. Like every day was a grind, like as we've said. And she knew that by doing this, I think she could just see literally how enthusiastic I was through learning, and that it was what I wanted to do. She knew I could make it work, and for me, that was huge. I think sometimes having the feeling that you can do something yourself is good, but having the support of someone that you love feeling the same way just gives you that extra push, knowing that you can do it. I'm not going to lie, mate. Yeah, I was very scared in terms of finance. The finance. You knew the bill. At the end of the month, you were going to be paid. You could cover the mortgage. You could take the kids out. But that was a very scary thought of, crikey, I might not be able to do that for a couple of months, or maybe 6 months, while I'm establishing myself as a PT. But again, like, she was supportive. We had money saved, so not a massive amount, but enough for me to sort of take the plunge and build on where I needed to go. So that was kind of a bit of a cushion, if you like. But again, it was a matter of, like, if I don't make this work, where am I going to be in 6 months? I could be in a world of trouble.
How do you learn, qualify, and kickstart as a FitPro? This is the FitPro Sessions Podcast with Parallel Coaching.
But also on the flip side, because you had some consequence of, like you say, if this doesn't work, I'm going to be in a world of trouble. That could be one of the causes for why you approached and attacked the course in the ferocious way that you did, because there were consequences, not just for you, but for your partner, for your kids, and the quality of life. And so that the level of action, you were willing, I suppose, to take more risk, but it was a much more calculated risk, and you had lined up, like you say, a little bit of savings to make that whole transition easier, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's right. The extra sort of sting in the tail was as well, mate, when I was with Bedford, the council I was working with just before I started, because I was a temp, the money was even better. And I was obviously saving for a house with my partner as well. So I was going to work literally purely for that aspect, saving, and obviously building the PT, the personal training at the gym on the side. So any extra clients I was getting, all the money was just going towards the house. So for me, mate, it was extra panic, because I was like, we're just buying a house. I could lose my job in the end of January when my contract ends, and then I'm going to be a full-time PT with like minimal clients.
Holy shit.
I've got to pay the mortgage at the end of every month. But again, like you said, mate, it was literally that drive. It was like, right, if I don't do something about it, I've only got myself to blame. So get in there, spend as much time in the gym, make it work for you. And that's exactly what I did.
Cool. So we when we first met, it was roughly what, 2015 or 2016? I was trying to go back through our...
Yeah, it was, mate. Yeah, it was close end of 2015. I think it was September, October 2015.
Yeah, and then you graduated. Was it literally just after the Christmas, wasn't it?
That's right, mate. I did my level 2 just before Christmas. And
yes,
then
that was right.
I had a gap, and then I came back for my level 3 just after. I think it was April, May of the following year I passed my level 3.
Yeah, I remember. So tell us more about what life was like during getting qualified. Like, tell our listeners more about your actual journey. You've mentioned, obviously, like, did it before Christmas and then the PT in the spring. From your perspective as a previous learner of ours, what was life like whilst getting qualified?
Again, but I suppose going back to what I was saying before, like, once I sort of took that initial step, past my level 2, obviously I was at a level where I could sort of do certain things, but obviously I couldn't be a personal trainer until I passed my level 3. But to be fair, it was just more of the knowledge that I was taking on from level 2 and being able to apply them to my everyday exercise. And that helped me give me like a clear outline of where I wanted to be with myself. I think that's pretty much what I did in between. Once I passed my level 2, I knew obviously I was going to book onto my level 3 at some point in the next couple of months. So it gave me time to sort of think about what I could do differently to other PTs.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time obviously looking what personal trainers do, what kind of service they provide, and how I could be different. And obviously I knew at the back of my mind, obviously I kickbox, and I could mesh that in together. And I think that's probably what I spent most of my time on, was like looking up. So as soon as I like pass my level 3 and I get the green light and I'm a qualified personal trainer, I can hit the ground running. So I think I probably spent 4 or 5 months just developing that, an online presence, what my name was going to be, how
and
I was
that's where Kickfit coaching came in, which is just fantastic, because you've taken your background of martial arts and kicking into fitness, and that kind of forged the way for Dave, I suppose, didn't it?
It did, mate. That was it. Yeah, exactly. Once I got the brand up, how I wanted to assert myself, how I wanted to be known as, like, oh, Dave's a personal trainer and a kickboxing instructor. He's a bit of this, bit of that. Yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to be. I wanted to be like an all-round, personal trainer, but again, have something that not all personal trainers have.
So yeah, you were capable of being the all-round personal trainer, but that unique approach of kickboxing was your touch on sessions. And I remember back to some of your Instagram stories and updates of a lot of it was very much the clients punching and kicking pads, even though majority of a session was still personal training based, but the brand was showing that it was kicking pads, which was just great.
Totally.
And obviously you went on and you qualified you did kettlebells and suspension training as part of that course as well, didn't you? Have you used that as part of your, how you've operated as a personal trainer as well? Or
absolutely, mate. Yeah, do you know what? It's again, those sort of areas are areas that I really like to really push with a lot of my clients. Again, a lot of the guys that a lot of the personal trainers in my gym, they obviously tend to use a lot of the resistance kit, whereas I like to be a little bit more sort of outside the box, especially in evenings when the gym's really busy and a lot of the kit's waiting around. I don't like the idea of having for my clients to have to wait around, so I'd rather work it around them. So kettlebells are always a massive option. We've got a huge rig at the gym, so I like to keep it functional for them. Movement patterns, a lot of unilateral work. So kettlebells have been massive, and that's one of the best takeaways I think I had was the level 2 and level 1 and level 2 courses I did for the kettlebells.
Superb. So let's stay on that. The biggest takeaway from a course, obviously you got the CPDs, you got the qualification, but is there what's your biggest takeaway outside of getting qualified itself and having that certificate to give you the license to go and practice? Is there one big takeaway that impacted you or your world or your clients more than just for qualification itself?
Mate, yeah, I think definitely for me it was the confidence to be able to give and support people in what they wanted to do. I think when people say, I have a goal, I want to do this, it's that confidence to be able to say, do you know what, I can help you do that. I can literally help you do that. That for me, I think that's the biggest thing. It's always scary. Like whenever you think like, right, I've got to do this, how am I going to do it? But when you've got the knowledge and the confidence to be able to say to someone, yeah, you know what, if we can stick to these rules, these guidelines, there's no reason why we can't get you where you want to be. And
I think that, all of the podcasts we've recorded so far with guest speakers on, the word confidence has come out as confidence and belief and intention. And it's just this running theme on every podcast so far that if I have a confidence, I can go and help somebody achieve the very thing that they want most.
Yeah, without a doubt, mate. I love the fact, like, if I get a new client and literally within a matter of weeks they start seeing a difference in themselves, that for me is like, that's what it's all about. They're feeling more comfortable in the gym. They're off doing their own workout in the gym. Like a massive example for me, mate, especially a lot of the ladies, when they see the free weights area and they see all the guys in there, it's like, well, it's almost like I don't belong here. But I go against that and I'm like, no, you've got no reason why you shouldn't be in here. And the second you see them training on their own on a day where they're not with you in the gym, in the free weights area, it's like, that's exactly, job done.
Superb. Many people believe that changing career is challenging, and it's there was probably, we've already spoken about a number of challenges that you faced from that initial conversation in your own head of like, I'm not happy, through to getting qualified. Why do you think so many people believe that changing career is overwhelming and too much to handle and don't do anything about it?
I think it's just the fact that people get so used to their daily life, and the whole idea of the concept of having to do something different is so scary. That is probably what the biggest hurdle that anyone will face. It's like, no, I'm doing this. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't like it, but I know what I'm doing. So therefore, I might as well stick to it.
It's comfortable.
It's comfortable, exactly. But it's that risk and that reward if you are willing to put in the time, the energy, the effort, and again, just have confidence in yourself to make that step. There's no reason why you can't take it forward. Life doesn't have to be a daily grind. It can be what you want it to be, but you've got to be willing to put in the effort to make it.
Completely. For every action is a reaction. You've got to be able to, you'd be willing to put in the hard work. And I think you've summarized it a treat. So you've qualified in fitness now. It's now late spring 2016. You spent some time, you've already mentioned, kind of thinking about your brand, what you're going to be called, what's going to be unique about you, and you set up Kickfit Coaching. Tell us what life has been like from 2016 to, we're now recording this October 2019, so just a little over 3 years. What's life been like as a qualified fitness pro?
It's been tough, mate. I'm not going to lie. It's been hard in the sense of probably hours. Like obviously working a full-time job and then going straight to the gym to carry on clients.
And you did
weekends.
That for a year, didn't you? Was that a year you did that for?
That's right, mate. Yeah, probably just over a year. That was tough. Again, saving money, working pretty much 60, 65 hours to 70 hours a week. It was tough, but again, like I said earlier, you knew there was light at the end of the tunnel. It was worth the push. It was worth the grind. Having a really good support network behind me. The kids were great. I think they saw a big change in me because I was doing something I really enjoyed. I always made sure I had time for, my family commitments, seeing my children. That was never sacrificed. So I'd always make sure that I could see them.
So even though you were tired, maybe somewhat burnt out, you've got the commute before and after, you've got your classic 9 till 5 mundane part, then overall it's a 60, 70-hour week. It's finding that balance still and figuring out, well, what are my priorities? What's important to me? And of course it's family, and that's what you end up focusing your attention to. So even though you're kind of maybe screaming inside of like, I just need a break. You've got light at the end of a tunnel.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing but good's going to come from it. It's tough. It's going to be tough. Like, again, anything worth having is tough. You've got to work for it. And I don't know. I'm really proud of myself for that. I think I look back and I think, I worked for a solid year doing those hours, and look where I am now, and think, yeah, do you know what? It was worth it. And if I had to do it again, I would. If it meant being back where I am now.
Amazing. And like you say, your partner and your kids, they saw a different Dave come through, as opposed to being, bored, apathetic, this mundane day to day. And all of a sudden, even though you're doing huge hours and you've still got your commute in there, X, Y, and Z, you're suddenly full of life, full of beans, energetic, and you had all the right to turn in at the end of the day going, I'm knackered, but you turned in going, I've loved it.
Exactly. That's it. That's the big one. Going to bed knowing you're onto something new and doing something better, or going to bed thinking, oh, I've got to do all that again tomorrow. That's the difference maker.
Amazing. So you set up, you was Kickfit Coaching, and you went over to Pump Gym. Tell us more about the setup with Pump Fitness. Is it Pump Gym or Pump Fitness?
It's Pump Gym, mate.
Pump Gym. How many hours did you have to do? Do you have to pay a ground rent? Tell us more about the structure for you as an actual setup as a personal trainer.
It was it's really good, mate. Actually, I remember it really well. Before I started with Pump Gym, obviously I was looking into where I could become a personal trainer. So I applied at a number of gyms: Virgin, Pure Gym. Sort of got an idea.
I was your reference for quite a few of them, I remember.
That's right, you certainly was. So I was having a look at some of the models and how it was going to work, and I got to admit I was a little bit apprehensive in terms of the hours I was going to be working, the money I was going to be having to pay towards gym rent based on the fact that I didn't have, any clientele. But I'll never forget, I got a call from Jamie, the manager at the time, from Pump Gym. Never even heard of the gym, didn't even realise it was open in Northampton. And said, "Hi Dave, we've seen your CV online. Would you like to come in for a chat?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." So literally went in a couple of days later, had a look around the gym, sat down with the management team. They explained what I was going to be doing. So 10 hours a week, 3 hours for the gym, so obviously maintaining the gym standards. But I was free to come and go, use the gym and pick up clients and train them 24 hours around the clock. To me, mate, again, that was probably the biggest appeal. It was 10 hours a week extra on top of my full-time hours, which wasn't too bad. I was doing a 38-hour week, so 48-hour week, but it got me where I needed to be. So that was my first initial big step into the fitness game. The gym had just opened, so it was like one big unit, if you like. Really nice kit, brand new. And again, I think that was my biggest appeal. Was it was a brand new gym, new members, only been open a couple of months. It's somewhere I thought I could really establish myself.
And how long did it take before you picked up your first paying one-to-one client?
It wasn't long. I think literally after maybe about 3 or 4 weeks in, after I got my classes going, felt comfortable with what I was doing, being on the gym floor as much as I could. I never forgot the time I got an email through saying, "Hi Dave, it's Natalie from your HIIT class. I picked up one of your cards last night from your profile. I was looking for some personal training." It was just like, oh my God.
It works.
It works. Someone's like contacted me, and it was good because I kind of wanted to be like, I didn't want to hard sell personal training. I didn't want to be that person that was like going up to everyone in the gym like, "I'm a personal trainer, blah blah blah." I kind of wanted people to sell themselves to me. Like, I want to be able to say, "You want a personal training? Okay, I want to make sure that you get the best results because you want this," as opposed to, "Oh, it's personal training, it's got to work," sort of thing. So that initial email was like, right.
I remember
this is it.
How do you learn, qualify and kickstart as a FitPro? This is the FitPro Sessions Podcast with Parallel Coaching.
I remember we just started Parallel and it was early 2012. We'd probably done close to maybe 6 months of setting up and, writing some of the courses, getting the content together and underpinning ourselves. And we had launched our first kettlebell course. And I'll never forget, I was a little bit gloomy because there was still this belief of like, I know it's going to work, but there was no evidence of it working yet. And me and Hayley, we'd gone out for a walk around one of the lakes in Milton Keynes, and we got back and there was a voicemail from a lady called, bearing in mind to date now, we've had almost 7,000 learners, but I can remember the lady's name. Her name was Karen. And we pressed play on the answer machine. It said, "Hi, my name's Karen. I'm interested in your kettlebell course." And I just remember dancing around the living room and on the landing in our small little house of excitement of like, it works.
It's crazy, man. No, sorry, I know that exact feeling.
And it's at that point you realize that this is what I want to do and I want to do more of it. So you find ways to progress and move yourself forwards. And that's what you've done with your No Excuses program. We had a discussion, I think 2017. I think it was it was only via Facebook Messenger, and it was about setting up your No Excuses program. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, mate. I'm not going to lie, mate. It was literally a straight up poach from your 5 a.m. club, mate. I was loving the content you were putting out for that. And to be fair, our gym wasn't offering any early morning classes at the time, and I kind of thought, let's sort of close that gap. I could be the one PT that's in the gym first thing in the morning. People see me on the daily, that sort of time. Let's get people in, and that's kind of where I went from. So I saw how well you were doing, and I advertised it as guys only to start off with. It was 3 guys. I started in May 2017. Took 3 guys on for an 8-week course. At first I was a little bit nervous, like, crikey, 3 guys, that's all I've got. But literally the more content I put out from it, and the second I opened it up to males and females, it literally it ballooned up. I now run it I run it for 4 weeks. I have a 2-week gap, and then I run it for another 4 weeks, and I've been doing that all year round. And that's been going, since May 2017.
Cool.
And
So when does the next one start?
It's started, mate, with literally the second weekend of this one. So we've got another 2 weeks. Then we've got a 2-week gap, and then I'm going to run another 4-week one just before Christmas.
Just before Christmas. How many have you got enrolled on this current No Excuses program?
I try and have a maximum of 15. I've been hitting 12 to 13 consistently over the last ones now. So purely in mind, because of the size of the studio that I use, I can't have a mass amount. But obviously on the 2-week gap, I advertise it again across the gym to drum up more sales and get more people involved.
And then obviously you've got this kind of your one to many, you've got, 12 to 15 people. And then obviously you can cherry pick off the top of that with PT, because there's always going to be some people that want more proximity with you, one-to-one or small group on top of that.
Absolutely. Again, like I said before, in front of my classes is where I think I've picked up an awful lot of my clientele. And No Excuses has been no exception. I've had, at the moment, I've probably got half the class that PT with me one-on-one as well. So they're getting their 3 sessions a week and an extra session of like an hour with me throughout the week.
So they've got that accountability to turn up on the group stuff, then the one-to-one. They're hitting 3-4 sessions a week. You're now impacting them 4 out of the 7 days, if not more, which means the likelihood of a result goes up, which means you've got great before and afters, you've got great testimonials, because no doubt they're walking away going, of course it works. And one of obviously the keys, as you know, is frequency to actually doing the exercise.
That's right, mate. Having the group chat, having me to obviously there for them as a group is wicked. And obviously the guys work really well as a unit. Everyone that sort of comes in and joins, they're welcome into the group chat that we have. Again, like you said, the weekly accountability of the one-to-one sessions as well, when we can really dial into where they want to be at with their goals. We can just build and thrive on that. And they've seen the results of No Excuses. It's early morning, but it's hard work. But again, the hard work pays off. Completely.
You mentioned a minute ago, I got 4 or 5 more questions before we wrap up today's podcast. You mentioned a minute ago, you do a lot more classes and you pick up clients at the end of that. So for example, are we talking about like spin classes, circuit classes that you're doing for the gym, and you've got maybe 15, 20 people in, and then you're picking clients out? How does that work? How are you picking clients up from your classes? What's the strategy? What do you do? What do you say?
I just try and be as much of me in the class as possible. So I always try and have a laugh, make the guys feel as comfortable as possible. I'm not like a drill instructor, but if I can see you can go a little bit harder, a little bit faster, I'll try and get the best out of you every single time. But just at the end of the class, it's just that's the key point, is when everyone's having a stretch and you've got full attention on you, that's the best time to showcase who you are, what you do.
The endorphins are high.
Exactly. The reason, you're feeling the way you are now because I've just put you through 45 minutes of hell, basically, in the nicest possible way. You've seen what you can do. I've helped bring that out of you. And just try and get people to capitalize on that. Just, again, introduce yourself, not be afraid to tell people the results, tell people the results that you can give them if they want to sort of go down that extra step of one-to-one. Again, but not a hard sale, just, I don't know, I suppose it's almost like dangling it on a carrot in front of them, if you like.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you can do in a session with me for 45 seconds. Imagine if you had me full-time as a personal trainer, basically.
What could we do? And you mentioned things like, you've got your name tag on, you've got your uniform on, which clearly advertises what you do, who you are. So you're constantly sending that message to them subliminally, I suppose, of this is what I can do with 1 to 20 people in a circuit class. Imagine what it would be like with me one-to-one for 30 minutes or an hour.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, encouraging people just to take a card if they want to make that first step, or just drop me a message on Instagram if they'd like some more information. Keep it free, keep it simple. Just make myself as accessible to everyone as possible.
Cool. Final few questions then. What do you wish you had known when you started out? So if you could rewind, what do you wish you would have known now you know everything, or know what you know now, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, totally, mate. I think just knowing that the initial step wasn't going to be as tough as it was. I think once I took the plunge, knowing that I wasn't going to be there working full time anymore, that I think it's more so that having the confidence in myself. Like I said, I knew I was at a position where I had to do it, but I wish I had just that little bit more faith to say, Dave, you're fine. You're going to do this. I think that's probably one biggest takeaway. To have a little bit more confidence.
This leads nicely on. I got 3 learner questions. So I put an email out to our parallel coaching community, and I got an email from James, Emma, and Tony. So I got 3 learner questions, and I got 2 final questions for you, Dave. What we do on these learner questions, if we kind of almost like set a timer, I'm not literally going to set a timer, but if we said like a 60-second blast to answer each question from James, Emma, and Tony.
Sure.
And then that kind of puts you on your toes a little bit as well. So James says, looking back, would you have done anything different?
No, it's the short and sweet answer. James, I literally had a clear goal. I knew what I wanted to do. Once I had that push from work, it was just a matter of grind, get in, get it done. And like I said, I'm really proud of myself for that. I think that's probably one of my biggest achievements is I had faith in myself. I knew what I wanted to do. And I just went out and got it.
So the work was the external push for you. I suppose for James, he might not have that external push from work where you were being made redundant. So maybe the message is there is to force your own push. So it forces you down that route to make a decision quicker.
That's right. Yeah, totally. It was a matter of, right, let's just do this. Let's have confidence in yourself. Go out there and get it done. That's exactly right.
Superb. Over to Emma. She said there's tons of courses out there. Believe it or not, Dave, there's over almost 1,000 training providers. So parallel coaching are one of 1,000. Yeah. How do you choose? And that's really what Emma's question is. How did you choose your course to qualify in?
Again, to answer that, it's a tough one because, like I said, Hayley was literally my first call. There was no one else who I spoke to or looked at online. It was a no-brainer for me. So I was very lucky in that respect. But I suppose looking back, if that wasn't the case and I hadn't found Parallel first, I think I would have probably just looked at as many as I possibly could. Give them a call, get a feel for them. Sometimes it's nice to talk to someone. And again, using Hayley as a reference, she made me feel completely comfortable. She knew exactly how to answer my questions. And like, I suppose, find if I was right for that business, right for the FitPro industry as well. So I think it's just a matter of research. Find out who feels comfortable, if they're accessible for you, and they're going to be able to deliver the goods.
Superb. Final questions from Tony, and I know Tony quite well. He's recently qualified. He asks, how did you go about getting your first gym job? How did you first go about getting into Pump Gym, and what was it like during the interview? And was there anything they asked specifically?
Yeah, so like I said, going back to earlier, they obviously saw my CV online, got in contact with me and said, do I want to come in for a chat? So it wasn't even like an interview at the time. So I remember going in very casually. I sat down with Nathan and Jamie, the assistant manager and general manager. I told them that I was I just passed within literally that month at the time. I said, this is what I want to do. I was very enthusiastic, and I think they could see that straight away, how enthusiastic I was about starting out, what I could bring to the table, obviously with martial arts background as well. But sorry, Neil, I feel like I'm digressing a little bit. It was
fine. You carry on. It's great.
It was again because they made it clear of obviously what I was going to be doing. So there was certain things about the job that there's going to be cleaning, there's going to be maintaining the gym floor, there's going to be stuff that you might not necessarily think is going to be part of day-to-day life. But again, you're in the gym, you're at the place where you're going to be selling yourself. That's like a byproduct of it. Again, it wasn't an issue. But again, just being confident, if that's what you want to do, just it will show. But in terms of questions that they asked me, I don't think there was anything that any sort of curveballs. They perhaps asked me what I could bring to the team, and I think I was just very clear with my enthusiasm at the time. I think that's what shone through. I was very new, but I was happy to do the extra bits that perhaps you didn't want to do. So being being enthusiastic, like I can do the gym maintenance. I'm cool with that. It's part and parcel of it. It's not going to be forever. Exactly. I
think one of the extra questions Tony asked again was, what did you wear to the interview? Did you wear gym kit, or did you wear a full suit, or was it very casual? What did you?
It was very casual. I remember it was hot. It was in the middle of August, so I literally had a pair of flip flops, shorts,
Nice.
and I had just literally like a fairly smart sort of short sleeve shirt on. I remember the only reason I went dressed like that was because they asked, "Can I come in for a chat?" If it was an interview, I'd possibly gone a little bit more, a little bit better dressed, smart dressed. But to be fair, I wasn't scruffy. I always like to make an impression.
You did your hair that day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's what sold it.
Fantastic.
But no, that was it, mate. Yes, it was just casual, and I think that certainly helped the situation as well. It was casual,
so no difference between a casual chat and an interview, and then dressing appropriately from there.
Exactly, that's right.
Cool. So 2 final questions. I mean, we could talk forever. We've been going almost an hour, and obviously we chatted before the podcast went live as well. So we could probably chat for ages. 2 final questions. Based on life to date, all your experiences in your growing up, previous career, qualifying all the way through the last 3 years as a FitPro, what 3 things or tips or advice would you give someone that wants to start out in fitness or coaching?
Okay, so tip number 1, make sure it's 100% what you want to do. Number 2, be a little bit different. Try and bring something different to the table, whether that's personality, what you can provide. And 3, just be confident in yourself. If you've got faith in yourself and confidence that you can do it, you will do it.
Superb. So final question, Dave, and I've asked everybody on the podcast, myself as well, and Hayley, all the guests, these last 2 questions. And first of all, I just want to acknowledge your time today, your energy, your effort, your approach to coaching, the time you spent with us face-to-face on course, and your kind of thirst for learning and approach that you've taken since qualifying as well. It's just been phenomenal to see your development. So I just want to acknowledge that. So the final question is, what's your definition of an outstanding coach?
Dedicating yourself to the people that come to you, knowing what their end result is, and just basically doing whatever it takes to get them there. But putting their goal first is, I think that's a coach that's going to listen, who will do what he says what he does. If he says he's going to do something, he backs it up. If he doesn't know the answer, he makes sure that he gets the answer and more. I think someone who can just go above and beyond is an outstanding FitPro.
Amazing. Again, Dave, I just want to thank you for your time today and all the answers you've given. How can people go ahead now and contact you further?
So I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Kickfit Coaching. You can't miss the logo, big white logo with Kickfit Coaching on it. I'm based at Pump Gyms in Northampton. Instagram or Facebook will probably be the best way to contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions sort of following on from today. If there's anything more I can say or do, then
fantastic.
Please feel free to let me know.
What we do, Dave, is we put all of the links in the show notes to your various social handles and whatnot. And I just want to say one more time, a big thank you. And we hope to have you on again soon.
Thanks, mate. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and thanks for letting me be a part of it. It's been brilliant.
Superb. Take care, boss.
You too, mate. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Neil Bergman.
And I'm Hayley Bergman. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands of fitness professionals to get qualified, learn with simplicity, and coach clients with confidence.
We're the first to say that learning and being a FitPro doesn't have to be hard work, and that with the right structure, support, and resources, you can become a confident and knowledgeable fitness professional that is dedicated to more.
So how do you learn, qualify, and kickstart as a FitPro? This is the FitPro Sessions Podcast with Parallel Coaching.